So, what is the function of the mitochondria? Mitochondria, as you have already told me, are the powerhouses of the cells. What does it mean that they are powerhouses? It means that they create the thing that is used as an energy. Of course, strictly speaking, from the physical perspective, ATP is not the energy. Yes. However, from the biochemical perspective, it is. Because every process that requires energy uses ATP. So transportation, movement of ions, growing, creation of new proteins, of new lipids, everything that needs energy, nearly everything that needs energy uses ATP. And the mitochondria are just specialized organelles that are specialized in creating ATP. So everything that is driven by the energy, like muscles, like heart, but also like to big extent like a liver, needs a lot of ATP, so needs a lot of mitochondria. More energy is used, more mitochondria we have. So tissues like muscles, especially red fibers, has really big quantities of mitochondria. What is the process that creates the ATP? It's called oxidative phosphorylation. Why phosphorylation? Because ATP is adenosine-free phosphate. It means that this is adenosine with 3 phosphates attached, as you can see in this picture. So we have adenosine and phosphate, phosphate, phosphate. Generally, this bond between 2 phosphates is highly energetic. That's why when the ATP gets to ADP, this bond is broken and we have energy release. Energy that can be used to many things. Usually it's used to change the conformation somehow, but more about this in the future. What is the structure of the mitochondrium? Mitochondrium has the double membrane around, outer and inner membrane, and inner membrane has a lot of cristae. So it looks a bit like the inside of the intestines. And the idea is to increase the surface of the inner membrane as much as possible, because on this surface we have oxidative phosphorylation enzymes. So the enzymes that phosphorylate ADP to ATP using oxygen. This is very important, because we have also some other way of acquiring the energy from the glycolysis, the process that is happening in the cytoplasm. Yes. So we have the glycolysis and oxidative phosphorylation. This oxidative phosphorylation is happening in the mitochondria, and the glycolysis is happening in the cytoplasm. Glycolysis is far less effective, but it has one very strong side. The glycolysis does not require oxygen. Oxidative phosphorylation, as name suggests, requires oxygen. So it's far more effective, but it's possible only when we have oxygen. And the glycolysis does not require oxygen. Okay. Also, what is very interesting about mitochondria is that they have their own DNA. That is different from the DNA that is in the cell nucleus. Probably because in the extremely ancient times, the early eukaryotic cells were infected by some small bacteria, and then these bacteria evolve into mitochondria. This is some theory, but I suppose it's quite interesting. Okay, about the cell nucleus. Wait a moment. Oh, I'm getting not to the side that's needed. Here. Of course, about cell nucleus, we'll get more on the genetics, but the general idea. It's like the mitochondria, it has the double layer membrane around, but here we have quite characteristic pores that gets around. Inside, we generally have the stored DNA. We also have some additional organelle inside of the nucleus called nucleus, where we have mainly RNA, and this is the only organelle that is not covered by the cellular membrane, by the lipid bilayer, generally speaking. this coating of the lipid bilayer around the cellular nucleus is called nuclear envelope. Inside we have this DNA, as we told already. In most times it is in the form of chromatin. Before division it is in the form of chromosomes. Okay, I suppose it's enough for today. Thank you very much.